6:45. This is a Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by Lavani Vijayathunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The Grade 5 scholarship examination will be held today. The President says the armed forces have the responsibility of protecting the country. The President requests the Mahanayaka Theras to conduct an exhibition of the tooth relic of the Dalada Maligava. The price of a 450-gram loaf of bread is reduced by 10 rupees. A program will be organized at the district level to evaluate taxpayers. The National Eye Donation Day falls today. Japan funds to setting up of 105 centers to improve the health of women and youth. In news overseas, Putin meets generals as reports of offensive grow in Ukraine. And in sports news, Argentina and France will fight for the Football World Cup today. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. The Grade 5 scholarship examination will be held in 2,894 centers around the country today. A special feature of this year's examination is that the students will receive the Part 2 question paper first. The examination department said that candidates will not be issued an admission card this time. Instead, the students have to place their signature on an attendance sheet. The Commissioner General of Examinations has requested the transport authorities to provide transport facilities to the children who will sit for the examination. The candidates should arrive at their respective examination centers by 8:45 a.m. President Ranil Wickremesinghe highlights that Sri Lanka's potential to better itself within the international sphere is by adopting a non-aligned foreign policy. Speaking at the 97th passing out parade of the cadet officers of the Diyatalava Military Academy yesterday, the President stated that Sri Lanka's position within the international forum can be elevated to a higher level by adopting a non-aligned foreign policy. He proposed that a non-aligned policy be adopted as opposed to supporting or being independent and dependent to any powerful country or a group of countries. We should be friendly with all countries. He further said leaders of the army have the responsibility of protecting the army and its soldiers, protecting the republic of the enemy. It is entrusted to the forces by the Republic, and it is also of paramount importance to protect the honor and reputation of the institution where you are being trained. A total of 351 cadet officers, including 4 foreign cadets who completed their training at the Diyatalava Military Academy, were commissioned at the passing out ceremony. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena met the Mahanayaka of the Malwatu Askiriya chapter, Most Venerable Timbatuawe Sri Sumangala Thera yesterday with a special invitation from the President to conduct the exhibition of the tooth relic of the Dalada Maligava. He also met the Most Venerable Sri Jnanaratana Thera. The Thera stated that a decision in this regard will be conducted after a discussion with the Sangha Sabha. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The Bakery Owners Association has decided to reduce the price of a 450-gram loaf of bread by 10 rupees. The price reduction is effective from today. The chairman of the association, N.K. Jayawardena, said that a request will be made to reduce the prices of other bakery products as well. A program will be organized at district level to evaluate the persons who are paying tax. Minister Ranjit Siamalapitiya said that the first program will be held on the 23rd of this month in Colombo. He also stated that the most important persons to be taken into account are the taxpayers and not the policy makers. Amidst the existing economic crisis, this program will be implemented covering all 25 districts in the island. Sri Lanka Eye Donation Society has organized several programs to mark the day, that is, the National Eye Donation Day, which falls today. Sri Lanka Eye Donation Society is involved in donating human eyes and tissues for transplantation. It serves patients in need both in Sri Lanka and around the world. The society is a non-profit organization and provides the tissues free of charge, except for a small fee when processing and delivery. The society receives about 3,000 corneas a year and more than 2,000 are shipped abroad. The most prominent recipient country has been Pakistan with over 20,000 corneas. Egypt and Japan have received over 8,000 and 6,000 corneas respectively. Sri Lanka itself citizens have the first access to free corneas. In the year 2003, the United Nations Association of Sri Lanka joined with Sri Lanka Eye Donation Society to initiate the SIGHT project with the aim of assisting patients in need of cornea transplants through United Nations Association in their respective countries. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The Grade 5 scholarship examination will be held today. The President says the armed forces have the responsibility of protecting the country. The President requests the Bahanaka Theatres to conduct an exhibition of the tooth relic of the Dalada Baligawa. The price of a 450-gram loaf of bread is reduced by 10 rupees. A program will be organized at the district level to evaluate taxpayers. The National Eye Donation Day falls today. Japan funds to setting up of 105 centers to improve health of women and youth. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for this morning, under a project implemented to improve the health of women and youth in Sri Lanka with the support of the government of Japan, 105 Pitru and Yogun centers have been established throughout the island. The Ministry of Health said under the $1.4 billion in project, many programs have been implemented to improve the health status of women and youth. The project has been implemented under the support of the Japanese government and in collaboration with the Bureau of Health Promotion, the Ministry of Women Affairs, non-governmental organizations, and the Family Health Planning institutions through the United Nations Population Fund. The minister said the closing ceremony of the project, which was a 3-year-long project, was held recently at the BMICH under the patronage of the subject minister Kenia Rabukwala and the Japanese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Hideki Mizukoshi. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Let's celebrate Christmas and New Year with CIB with special gifts, discounts and easy payment schemes available till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
And in Watch Life this morning, the President of the Federation of Health Professionals, Ravi Kubudish, says the number of dengue cases recorded this year has almost doubled compared to last year. He said a total of 35,924 dengue cases were reported from January 1st, 2021. But 72,321 dengue patients were reported from January 1st this year. It is more than a twofold increase of the cases recorded compared to last year. Therefore, reducing the mosquito population is very essential to control the spread of dengue. General public is kindly urged to keep their house premises clean without mosquito breeding places. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Let's celebrate Christmas and New Year with CIB with special gifts, discounts and easy payment schemes available till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
World News brought to you by courtesy of
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news: Putin meets generals as reports of offensive grow in Ukraine. Peru's president refuses to resign amid political crisis. Guns confiscated at the US airports hit record levels. Those were the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. Russian President Vladimir Putin has met with his military chiefs amid reports that he is seeking to launch a new wave of attacks in Ukraine. The Kremlin said he spent almost of the entire Friday at the headquarters of the special military operation. Footage showed Mr. Putin flanked by Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Armed Forces Chief Valery Gerasimov. It comes amid Ukraine claims that Moscow is now preparing to launch a new offensive after a string of defeats. Peru's President Dina Boluarte has ruled out resigning, saying it would not solve the political crisis sparked by the ousting of her predecessor, Pedro Castillo. President Bulate renewed her call for the Congress to approve early elections as a way to curb the street protests that have claimed more than 20 lives. Congress has dismissed this proposal. Demonstrators backing Mr. Castillo wants Mr. Bulate to go as well as early elections and closure of Congress. A record number of firearms were confiscated from the U.S. airport passengers in the year 2022, transport officials have said. A total of 6,301 were taken at the checkpoints as of mid-December this year, and of those, 88% were still loaded. The Transportation of Security Administration said it expects to confiscate 6,600 guns by the end of the year, a 10% increase over the year 2021's record level. The agency said guns brought to the airports consumes significant resources and it is very costly for the passenger. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Putin meets generals as reports of offensive grow in Ukraine. Peru's president refuses to resign amid political crisis. Guns confiscated at the U.S. airports hit record level. And that was the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News.
In development news, the government is to develop Alla tourist area according to a grand comprehensive plan. The president has informed the officials to prepare the relevant development plan within 4 months, together with the Tourism Ministry, the Urban Development Ministry and the Environment Ministry, and submit it to him. The president points out the need to plan Alla tourism zone formally and according to a proper plan. Steps will also be taken to make the entire Uva province a preferred destination for tourists. That was the development news. Now let's move on to sports news. The Football World Cup final between Argentina and France will be played in Qatar today. The continents of America and Europe will all as eyes will be focused on 2 men of contrasting styles, Lionel Messi, the world's most famous Argentinian super sports star, and Kylian Mbappe, France's most sought-after deliverer. For Messi, who has taken football to more people than any other in the modern history, it could be his farewell international match after as many as 5 appearances in the ultimate global showpiece, while Mbappe showcases the future of world football, making both men the hottest 2 men on the planet at the moment. 2 superheroes will have much to prove and live up to the expectations of not just Argentina and France, but billions of followers worldwide, from the poorest of the shanty towns to opulence of the glorious palaces. Argentina and France will also have to prove to the world that they deserve their slots in the final showdown after one of the most heart-stopping and minefield routes to the final curtain call. Undoubtedly, both Argentina and France can stake their claims to the final ahead of all other teams that fell by the wayside as they overcame some of the most challenging and grueling moments in football, making it an occasion not to be missed. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka shares fell in mid-market trade last Friday. With holidays around the corner, the market is seeing a selling spree. There is a dip in all the countries with no buying interest. With holidays ahead, there has been a motive on selling and profit-making, analysts said. The all-share price index fell by 0.57% and S&P SL20 was down by 0.65%. The market generated a turnover of 1.2 billion rupees. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
And moving on to economic news, prisoners will be trained for modern agricultural practices with international support amid the government's effort to bring in new food security law. The Department of Prisons is planning on enhancing the skills of inmates in modern cultivation practices with the assistance from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The move comes as President Ranil Wickremesinghe has said new laws are expected to be introduced in the future to ensure food security. With economic news, let's move on to the weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the eastern, Uva and central provinces and in the Polonnaruwa and Hambantota districts. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters is likely at some places. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places elsewhere over the island during the afternoon or night. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters is likely at some places. That was the weather report, and before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The Grade 5 scholarship examination will be held today. The President says the armed forces have the responsibility of protecting the country. The President requests the Mahanayaka Theras to conduct an exhibition of the tooth relic of the Dalada Maligawa. The price of a 450-gram loaf of bread is reduced by 10 rupees. A program will be organized at district level to evaluate taxpayers. The National Eye Donation Day falls today. Japan funds to setting up of 105 centers to improve the health of women and youth. In news overseas, Putin meets generals as reports of offensive grow in Ukraine. And in sports news, Argentina and France will fight for the Football World Cup today. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.